Hey guys, welcome back to the build. This is a second session I was doing. Finally putting on a path to get to the top level. You can go from the ground level or the second level and vice versa, you can go back. I took some time to try and figure out how to get the path going all the way around. I needed to be able to utilize the ground floor, and I wanted to put an articulation obstacle here and stuff like that. So I was doing what I could to utilize all the space, and at this point it took me to the outside of the track. And so I put some wooden dowels underneath. You can see that I stop and think about things trying to figure out the best way to finish things up. After I finished putting on the ground layer, it was more starting to add the details, so getting things tightened up. What I ended up doing on a lot of the overhangs is using wooden dowels to come out from underneath, so it's screwed into the plywood and then also secured to the cardboard. And I can't remember what size, I think they were like 1/2 inch wooden dowels. So you got to pre-drill them really to keep them from cracking and splitting. But once this was done, I was able to start adding in styrofoam and some of the cardboard in different areas that wasn't done yet. As you can see, I did the top here, and then I started also spraying the foam, and the foam really secures everything together. It's super sticky and becomes really stiff, which is really good for keeping everything tight and controlled. So I'm going to be adding this to some of the other areas that were done previously as well, just to stiffen it up, because one layer of plaster can crack if it flexes. So this will help keep it together. I started using the spray foam, and I'm trying the Loctite before I use the great stuff. I was hoping this stuff might spread a little bit more efficiently, but it's for sure sticky, I tell you. So I went ahead on this one. We got some of these lower parts, and I've got some supports underneath. I'll probably have to bend this one down. It got warped in the rain. But it is fairly smooth. So the lower part's coming around. I forgot, I stepped away for a little while. I need to trim this up, but I want to box this in for the back space so you just don't look underneath things. And I've got some ideas on how I want to model that. But I had 2 cans of foam, and I think, I can't remember how much that cost, but I bought it and I put it in the last video on the cost breakdown. But I got the lower levels going to come around and come around again, and then go underneath that way. So the bottom level goes all the way around. So this way up, so coming up this way is going to be a 2-level climb up to this one. And you can go back down to this level, which you can get to from the top of the V-notch. You can go around that way, you can go down. So right here on this end, there's 4 ways. You got your wood bridge, your V-notch, your downhill, and your uphill. And then this uphill, as you can see, stretches all the way to the top. It wraps around up there, come down on the wood bridge here. There'll be the wood bridge here. And so the only way up and down from this level is going to be right here. So you can either come down 1 level, or you can go down to the very bottom. And then hill climb will be right here. So you go up here. This is going to be the steepest part. And I'm not sure all vehicles will be able to make this, to be honest. But I wanted something challenging, so as you upgrade your cars, you can, try something more difficult and challenging. So if you can't do that, you should be able to get up this way. And then you can probably go down, whether you're rolling or on your tires or your whole car. And so when you come down, you can go up this way, up the V-notch, or interlock it down into the lower track and go from there. So in this small footprint, this has a lot of paths you can take. And so this end here, I'm going to be doing an articulation from this point all the way over to here. And you can step out of it if you want and go down the other lower path. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking for this. And so we accomplished a lot, kind of finished the course as far as the rough outline and started some details with the foam, but I've got to do a few more things. Like I got to finish where how that V-notch will connect down, and I might do that with some foam. And yeah, other than that, it's kind of a complete runaround. I do need to clean up also that end here for the underside of it. But I've got some cool ideas for the underside on that end. I think I might leave it open right here between the bridge as well. So if you wanted to come down the V-notch, you can come down out this way. Or if you wanted to go up from there, you can move your way up. So lots of options. I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know how to calculate all these different options you get or how many ways you can go around it. So after this course, I'm actually going to try something much smaller. I meant this one to be more simple. I didn't make it more simple, but the next one will be more simple, max 2 levels with a few obstacles. And so, you know, this might be daunting for somebody to look at and say, there's no way I want to get into a project this big. That's understandable. Not everybody really wants to do this. So I will do a much simpler course that will be much cheaper, but since I started this one, I really got to finish it. So after this track build, I will do the simple course track build. And I'll make it, you know, red rock like this one. This one too, I think as well, because I got that down. I know how to do those colors and everything else. But hope you guys like this, and I'm trying this new screen, you know, that was left over. It manipulates fairly easily. And I'm trying screws and a different structure on this track where the other one was really solid pieces of cardboard and foam. This one's going to be a little bit more structure and open, which I'm hoping will make a difference for how it feels to run all levels. So I don't know if I'll get it to look realistic like rock everywhere, but we'll see how it turns out.
Finally getting back to this underside, I don't want as much open spaces where it's just voids and can't really drive or anything, so I want to enclose those areas, and so I'm doing that here. And I also wanted to make the articulation obstacle, and so just drew some wavy lines and then just used the wire cutter to go through and create them, and then I just offset them to get the 2 sides. And I'm making it so you can turn off either way if you want to go to the upper course or the lower one. Still using the screen, I wanted to try to get that V-notch lower part taken care of, and then jumping back to this end, just adding in more cardboard. And I find using the screws is just the easiest. Here I am just filling some gaps. And I am at the point now where I'm really excited to get going on some of the details. I will be adding more foam, and I need to glue some things down, so I'll probably get to that in the next video since this one's getting kind of long. But again, just cutting out areas, trying to fill it in, backfill, so everything's nice and neat and tidy. So hopefully this one will come out and look cool as the other one.
foam dried really hard. It is stable. It expanded decently, not super as much as I wanted, but I'm gonna try to use that some more, and I'm gonna use it to glue down some of this stuff and fill in the gaps, and created that back wall underneath this slope. And as you can see, I put in that articulation obstacle and just using scraps wherever I can. And I filled in this space, this gap. I'll probably fill in all this area too and along the back just to hide it more. And I may cut out a little bit here, make sure there's clearance. Because I don't know, I'm starting to think I might have a clearance issue right there. But I'll get that figured out. And then I added some more foam here along the back edge, and I've got some details I'm gonna be doing there later, more towards the end. But probably before paint. Well, maybe after paint actually. Might be the last thing I do. But that blocked it all off really nicely, so I'm happy with that. I used more of the screen, as you could see in here, trying to finish off the V-notch, but I want to add a lot more texture and rocks to that area. But it's nice to be able to start getting into the foam and adding more details and stuff. So, you know, now I'm looking at this, I have this space here, so maybe I should add a little turn here, so if you don't want to really go on that obstacle, you can kind of go around it. So maybe I'll add that, and I'll do that when I get the foam. But so far it's a way bigger, more intricate track than I expected, but I'm liking it. I'm going to try to go up to the mountains this weekend so I can get enough sticks to do the bridges here and here. So yeah, making some progress. I'm going to wrap up this video for the second portion of the build. I'm going to do a quick video for the next one where I had people come by and try out the tracks with their cars. One was an Element RC and the 4-wheel steering Axial, and I also got my new Furitek. And so I'm gonna just take a break from the build video. I'm still working on it. I will still do some updates on that, but I just wanted to show you how the new track and the original big red one, to how those work with different vehicles. And as a little bit of a spoiler, my new Furitek can actually climb the hill climb, and it's the first car out of like I think 5 cars that have tried that can actually do it. And so I'm pretty impressed with that thing, ready to race out of the box. Was able to climb that hill, and I still haven't taken the time to dial it in, but super impressed with it so far, and so I'm going to do that in the next video. Hope you enjoy it.